Kill something like an antelope, so the vultures all come down for the antelope. Unfortunately for them, the antelope's been poisoned, so it kills the vultures. And this is having a drastic effect on vulture populations. Vultures don't overpopulate areas. They're very long-lived birds, and they stick to sort of how many birds they know are going to be able to survive in a particular area. Which means they don't even breed regularly, maybe once every 2 years, and we'll have one youngster. And considering they're so evil, you wouldn't think they'd be very good parents, but they're actually the most doting parents you'll ever find in the bird of prey world. But when you poison a carcass and 300 or so vultures die at one carcass, they cannot cope with that kind of destruction. There just aren't enough of them to breed and repopulate the areas. Now, many of you are probably thinking, oh yeah, but they're pretty ugly. They do a disgusting job. Why do we really care? Well, let me tell you a few things. First of all, I've been working in zoos with birds of prey and many other kinds of animals for nearly 30 years. And this is a real crisis for these birds. Forget when you see the next advert for black and white furry bears. Pandas do not need any more money. They're billionaires. They don't need any more money. There are more of them now than there have ever been because they breed them so much in captivity in China. They have panda farms just as attractions for people. They don't need your help, and pandas were actually on the end of their evolutionary trail. They eat things that are really bad for them, and they don't like to breed. That is an animal that's no longer due to be with us. If you want to help something conservation-wise, then these are the ideal things to be putting your money in. Sadly, if pandas disappeared tomorrow, it wouldn't affect human beings. There'd be a little bit more bamboo around, but apart from that, it really wouldn't affect us human beings. Pandas being there or not does not affect us, apart from the fact they're cute and cuddly. If these disappear, we're in for real trouble. Now, what happened in India, when the vultures disappeared, there's no one to clean up the carcasses. So there's a lot of rotting carcasses lying around. When you don't have vultures to clean up, you get other animals that start to take over, things like feral dogs. And that's what happened in India. The largest pack of feral dogs spotted was over 3,000 strong. These animals aren't scared of being around humans and will often wander through towns and villages carrying disease. Because vultures don't just get rid of the carcass, they actually get rid of disease because their stomach acids are so powerful they can destroy almost anything that hits it, including things like botulism, rabies, Ebola. All these things disappear when they go into a vulture, and when it comes out the other end, it comes out sterile. So they're not just getting rid of carcasses, they're getting rid of disease. And when you don't have them, disease becomes prevalent and much worse. In India themselves, they've actually projected that without the vultures, they're going to have to be spending anywhere between 2 and 10 billion extra on healthcare because their vultures aren't there to help them anymore. The same can be happening in Africa. In the next 10, 15 years, if we're not careful, we'll lose all the vultures, and that will be catastrophic for the African environment and for these birds. You may not think they're that good to look at, but actually, when you learn to know them a little bit, forget about what they actually do for a living and what they eat. They're actually beautiful birds to look at. They're fantastic birds to work with. We love working with the vultures. They're full of personality and will do things that other birds won't do all the time just to cause you problems like that. And they're just great animals to be around. They don't deserve the nasty reputations they've got. They certainly deserve a lot more conservation work being gone into them than is at the moment. If you're planning, I know this year's been pretty horrendous for everybody. If you are planning on making any kind of charitable contribution to wildlife this year, please, obviously us, obviously, but for other people, and we don't get anything out of this. I'm not saying it just because we're partners or anything like that. I'm saying it because we need to save these animals.